Hi, welcome to Knitting for Men, where men learn to knit like real men. Let's begin. First, you'll need 2 needles and yarn. Take the end of the yarn and stretch it out 1/2 arm width. Now it's time to cast on. Wrap the yarn around your index finger once, pull the bottom piece above the top, then repeat once. This should form a loop. Take a needle and stick the pointy end through the loop. Then pull firmly, tightening the loop but not too tight. Separate the 2 strands of strings with your index and thumb and bring the needle down. Stick the pointy end through the loop on the thumb from under the yarn, then through the loop from the front of the yarn, then back through the thumb loop. Pull tight and repeat. Under, over, through, and pull. Under, over, through, and pull. Let Tyler do this a few times to form a nice row of stitches, and we'll get back to him. Now let's talk about manly things to knit for. If you ever find yourself out in the woods on a cold night and you need some warm gear, you can always stop and knit yourself a nice warm sweater. Or whenever you're planning a barbecue and you don't want to waste money on an apron, you can always knit yourself a nice manly apron. Or whenever you have no laundry, you can knit yourself some nice warm socks. And even some nice comfy underwear.
Say you're going fishing and you don't have a nice bag to hold your fish. You could always knit yourself a hand quality bag to hold and store these fish. Or if you're at a cabin and you do not have a cozy blanket, you are able to knit yourself a nice blanket. These are all applications you can use by learning knitting. Now a word from our sponsors.
Men knit, but real men knit for Street Knits. Street Knits is a non-profit organization that is based in Michigan, but anybody from all over the United States can donate socks, scarves, hats, anything they knit, blankets, to Street Knits. Real men are charitable. Real men knit for Street Knits. While your wife is gone, you could make her a beautiful scarf. Now, back to knitting.
First, you should have a nice row of stitches called the cast on. Take the second needle and stick the pointy end through the first loop above the stitches. Take the long strand and rip it around the bottom needle. Pull the bottom needle back through the loop with the string still attached. Now pull the first loop off the needle with the stitches and tighten the loop. Repeat this process with the next loop in the sequence. Through the loop, wrap around the needle, pull needle out, pull loop off, and tighten and repeat.
While I field dress this pistol, we're going to talk about stealth and tactical knitting. You can practice stealth and tactical knitting whenever you're in the deer blind, or duck hunting, or in combat, or anytime you just need to be sneaky. Okay, now men, we're going to talk about the history of knitting. The first artifact of knitting was found in Egypt, dating back to the 11th century AD. But it was such a complex garment that it was obvious that knitting had occurred before this.
And that, my friends, is all you need to know. Now you know how to knit like a man.
I don't always knit, but when I do, I knit for Street Knits. Stay warm, my friends.